everyone, this is Candace. Welcome back to day 73 of my 100-day health challenge. Hopefully my camera will stay in place. I've got it kind of placed weirdly because I'm having to sit down and just take it easy again still. I always am sitting down, but I'm kind of like leaning, sort of laying, half sitting, half laying down. Anyways, I apologize. My voice is hopefully where you can hear it, but it's pretty scratchy because I have a much worse sore throat today and I'm definitely sick. So, and my cough is at bay right now, so I can talk, but I'm not sure how long that'll last. And I'm just really exhausted, kind of achy and sore and still have a fever. So, but I wanted to check in and just, do my everyday consistent check-in. That's part of my making sure I'm building consistent healthy habits for the long term. Today has been obviously not the best of days. I am definitely not feeling good, but I'm doing everything I can to take care of myself and get better. And I am still, rebuilding my immune system. And, as I've been detoxing and trying to make sure that I'm getting rid of toxins efficiently. So I've been taking my supplements and everything, and I'm just trying to support my immune system. But I do, when I do get like this, sometimes I catch things. And so I think I must've just caught something that was either going around school or just been around town. Like you can go in the store and get, whatever. So I don't know. I could have gotten it anywhere because I heard so many people coughing and sounding gross in the store. And I've heard people, even at the gas station, and I know you're outside, but I mean, even just like, touching stuff that other people have, even when you try to wash your hands and sanitize and stuff, it's like, I'm not like over the top gung-ho or anything about it, but I do know that, you can catch things anywhere. So apparently I've gotten something, but I'm hopefully going to get rid of it so I can get into work tomorrow and, finish the week strong and then, get going on things next week too. So, but I did want to check in and, today, otherwise, what happens when you're sick is just, you really got to take care of yourself. And, it's hard sometimes because you're so tired and you don't always feel like fixing things for yourself. You don't always feel like going around and doing the things you need to. And, you don't need to stress yourself, but you also need to be doing things to help yourself improve. So I guess today, briefly, and maybe I'll touch on it more, more tomorrow. But I did want to talk a little bit about how I personally take care of myself when I'm sick. So one of the first things, when we're talking about stress management and rest and good sleep habits, when you're sick, rest is so much more important. It is so tempting to push through and do everything. Like if you're not at work, it's tempting to work at home. When you're not doing that, it's tempting to do things around the house that you need to get done. And you do need to move around because there's potential difficulties when you don't move around enough. Like even when you're at your worst, moving around keeps your lungs from getting, having complications. Like for example, you can develop pneumonia when you're not walking around and or at least working your lungs and making sure you're getting, not getting fluid in there and everything. And so you do need to be moving around, and it's actually helpful to be moving. And you can get sores and things. That's why a lot of times elderly people get sores when they're stuck in a nursing home, because they don't move. And so you definitely need to be moving, and as much as you can. Now the flip side of that, like I was saying, rest is so important too. So it's a balance. You totally have to strike a balance here because you can go too extreme one way or the other. And I think a lot of that comes from knowing your body. And in the West especially, but even just in modern culture in general, we are so bad about knowing ourselves and knowing, being in touch with what our body does and how it responds to things. And I know, some of you are going to think this sounds like, some kind of crazy out there thing, but it's not. It's simply knowing your body. And we do not take time to actually understand what we're feeling, understand what we're experiencing, because we each respond uniquely. There is no universal cure for everything. for every person in the exact same way. You know, even medicines that generally work for everyone, or supplements or vitamins that work for everyone, they're going to work differently for everyone. So you've got to be very careful to understand how your body responds to things, because we oftentimes don't know the things we're allergic to until we experience it. And so you need to do things gradually and know if you are allergic to something, then you need to know what things that's in, you know. And I know a lot of you obviously know that because you experience that on a regular basis. But even just side effects, you know, take for example, just like I know a lot of people like to take melatonin to help with sleep and relaxation. And the thing is different people, some people don't respond at all. Some people need to take barely anything and they're just gone, they're out. They're so, like sound asleep and you can't wake them up. And it's almost scary because they're so asleep. And then some people, like they keep popping the pills of melatonin because they're like, I can't go to sleep yet still. And so something's not responding the way that it necessarily should. And that could be a lot of different reasons. So we really need to get to know our own bodies and how we react to things, and be familiar with how we respond. And that's going to be a new experience every time we try something new, and that's okay. And you can also do a lot of research. And I would recommend, personally, I am have had huge success with alternative medicine. And this is nothing against Western or modern methods of different things. And not that alternative medicine isn't modern, just there's some things that aren't considered modern. But even with non-Western traditional medicine, there are so many benefits, and I've had huge success with it. And so I'm not saying that Western medicine is bad necessarily. I have had much more success. I've had more problems with Western medicine, and I've had much more success with alternative medicine. And I should say that more like modern Western medicine, because we do have Western traditional to an extent. But anyways, and I hope you can hear me, by the way. I can't tell how quiet I am with how scratchy my voice is. I'm trying to be loud, but I can't strain my voice. So, but I would encourage you to find people who can lead you along the path of you know, helping learn more about your body. Like, because sometimes, you know, for example, like a fever, people automatically think, oh, I got to get rid of this fever. But a fever is an indication that you're fighting off something, or that your body is trying to fight. And yes, you don't need a high fever, because that can cause damage in the brain or other organs. But you also don't need to necessarily automatically try to just get rid of a fever if it's a low fever, because sometimes that's your body trying to fight. And so you just need to give it support to help it fight, so it's not fighting on its own. And so that it's being aware of those things. And even simple things like knowing what fruits and vegetables are good when you're sick, or what you can stomach, because some people, for example, they'll recommend orange juice for vitamin C, which is great, but some people can't stomach orange juice because of the acid content, or the acidity, not acid content, but you know what I mean, the acidity of it. So some people with acid reflux, for example, are going to have more difficulty with orange juice, because their stomach, the stomach acid, it's not gonna, their whole situation, especially someone with more like basically chronic or severe acid reflux, is gonna have trouble with orange juice over something else. So they may need to take a vitamin, or maybe, you know, someone responds really well to one of those dissolving tablets of vitamin C in water. Someone else, the taste may make them sick, or some of the other ingredients in it may make them sick. So I would just encourage you to be aware of your own response to things. Some people find that milk, when their throat is sore, actually makes it kind of cloggy and almost makes it feel worse, whereas other people find that it helps. Some people like warm tea, some people like hot tea, some people like cold tea. Sometimes people don't realize that coffee is very, very dehydrating, and so it's not always a good option when you're sick. But on the flip side of that, some people find a lot of comfort in coffee, and so maybe having one smaller glass when you're sick, and then making sure you're following up with lots of water and fluids. I mean, you've got to know your own system, so that's my recommendation there. And when it comes to sleep and stress management and movement, that you need to be finding a balance for you. You know, what's too much? Like if you're trying to run in the morning like you usually do when you're sick, that's probably not going to work. And in fact, it's gonna strain and stress and lower the energy in your body so that you can't fight off something as well. But on the flip side of that, if you decide to be a couch potato all day and not move at all, and you may be letting fluid settle in your lungs and not moving and getting your breathing going and everything. So it's, I know that's not necessarily what you want to hear, because that doesn't necessarily help, but I think it is the biggest thing I would say about is when you are healthy, starting your habits then, so that you know what to do when you are sick or how you're going to respond to things. And then I would recommend finding someone, both if you have traditional medicine or if you have Western medicine. I would also recommend looking into the different options of alternative medicines. There are so many good people out there. I would say find someone who's either highly recommended with a lot of good reviews, or if you know it's always better if you know someone personally who's been there. That's actually how I found my alternative medicine doctor. I had lots of recommendations of several different people in the area, but then one person in particular that I really, really trust had gone to her and then worked for her. So I think it's very important so that you find personal recommendations too. And then just know from there, as you get to know them, you know, then see if that's a fit for you, because maybe not everyone is a fit for you. And when you're doing self-medication, and I don't mean self-medication as like actually giving, you know, deciding what medications you can have, although that you need to be careful with that too. You do need people to help with that. But I would say if you're going to want to do more natural health things, find people who have been doing it already. Oftentimes our elders are the people we can go to. We've lost a lot of that in Western culture. So I would say, whereas my family had a lot of very, very knowledgeable elders, and we've lost most of them now, sadly, but I learned so much of my natural health care and my family's traditions from them. They carried them down, mountain medicine and all of those things, because they didn't have access to modern healthcare, and you had to drive, or sometimes you couldn't even drive, you know, miles and miles, hours away to get modern healthcare. And so my elders did teach us. And so I would say that if you have access to that, do not let that go. Don't let that be wasted. The wisdom that our older relatives have, family members, or even just friends who are like relatives, don't let that wisdom pass away. I can guarantee you, for the most part, are going to be so happy if you ask them to teach you about what they know. And also then we don't lose that much more knowledge out of this world, because that's what we've lost a lot in Western culture, is our traditions and wisdom from our elder family members. And oftentimes that also comes with a lack of respect for the wisdom that they carry because of their experiences. So I would say one really good thing is to actually be willing to ask your grandparents or your parents or aunts and uncles or whoever that may be. To us, we always called our great aunts and uncles just aunts and uncles too. So, but ask your elders or even just elderly friends. If you're sick, ask them for recommendations, or if you know they have experience in herbalism or natural healthcare, or they just had experience with medications that is being recommended to you. Ask people. And I would say elders are one of your biggest and most important sources. But if you don't have that, just ask friends who you trust who've experienced this, and ask multiple people and get that information from them. And then do your own research. There are so many ways to be able to become familiar with things like herbs or essential oils or natural products, or even just foods and eating correctly that helps your immune system. And obviously I have a lot of this knowledge and I've done a lot of this, but I also still struggle a lot because of more somewhat chronic health issues and things that I've been dealing with over the years. But I still find so much help and blessing in it. I have not been to, well, so I have very much stayed out of Western and modern medicine for a while, just because, and it's not that I don't do it at all, if I was really needing to, but honestly, I don't think I've been in years. And some of you are going to take that as like, well, no wonder you're sick, but that's actually not true. I am so much better now than I was 5 or 6 years ago, when I pretty much was the last time that I did more Western medicine. So, and do I take advantage of the things that are available to us? Yes, I do. But I don't know, this is a little rambly. I need to actually just make a video on this sometime, because this is what I'm passionate about too, and I'm learning more about and trying to go back to school for in some ways too. So, and as I'm doing my own health journey, and as I see the improvements in my own health and wellness, I try to share that with other people and teach about it. I do teach about natural healthcare a lot too, but I'm improving that as well, in my own journey. And so I should just, when my brain is a little bit more focused, I should share just more about that. But anyways, that's just some thoughts about how to take care of yourself when you're sick, and just preemptively setting yourself up for success before you even get sick. And just, I know I kind of rambled a bit and jumped around to different topics. That's my sick brain right now, is not totally focused and doesn't have the best outlining skills to give you a good, like, here's the things that I would recommend. So I do apologize. It's more turning out rambling, but I do hope something in this helps you. And I'll make a video about that sometime. I know I keep saying that, but literally I am creating a list of all the things that I really want to talk about, and the things I want to share and that I want to teach about, especially, like as I do this, finish up this 100-day challenge, but then also look at what's next. So, all right, well, I better go ahead and go, because my brain, one, is probably rambling and being a little confusing, and then my throat is getting a little quieter and a little harder to do, so I don't want to have that be a problem. I want to take care of myself while I'm sick. So, all right, well, you all have a great rest of your day. Like or subscribe below. Well, okay, wow, words. This is so embarrassing in some ways. I need to get over this, because it's not that big a deal. I'm literally asking you, if you like this video, then let me know. And if you want to hear more, if you want to get updates, that kind of thing, subscribe and share it with family and friends. I would love to, be able to continue reaching people and making a difference in people's lives. So, all right, I will see you all tomorrow. Bye.